Chumanchi. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Strength Classroom.
To the sky, I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
Today, final installment for now because I'm just sticking to the power lifts. I did top 3 deadlift assistance exercises, top 3 squat assistance exercises. Now I'm going to do top 5 bench press or pressing assistance exercises. So number 1 would be pin benching, or as some people call it, the dead bench. This builds dead stop strength. I like to call it FU strength, where it's not very technical. You're muscling up the weight. You don't have any stretch reflex. You don't have any rebound. This removes the stretch reflex, like I said, more so than a pause bench. You can pause as long as you want. You will still have some stretch reflex because the muscles have been loaded. Not as much as a touch and go, but there's still some there. This removes that. Depending on where you're weak in the range of motion, you can adjust the pin height so that you're strengthening that motor pattern. But I like using this exercise to build power right off my body, right off the chest, right at the beginning of the range of motion. So I like setting the pins pretty damn close to my body. So how can this be applied for bodybuilding purposes? Hypertrophy, muscle growth. If you need stronger triceps, put the pins midway and just focus on the tricep portion of the bench. But if you set them right at the bottom, like I said before, you can get some great pec hypertrophy out of this, even though you're not getting a stretch. Is it optimal? No. Does it work? Yes. For powerlifting, it's really the same thing as bodybuilding, but as opposed to looking at as muscular weak points, think of it as sticking points. So if you're constantly failing at lockout and the transition point between your shoulders and your arms, set the pins right there. Wherever you're weak, set the pins. And this is good for athletics because if you're an athlete that has anything to do with pushing, moving in front of you, which most of them do, this helps you go from, I hate this saying, but 0 to 100. You don't have to rely on any stretch reflex, no power, it's just boom, you have to get started. This is easy when done with lightweight, but the challenging and the beauty of it is when you start being able to use heavy weights on this exercise. Exercise number 2. The paused bench. Everyone argues that the paused bench is really not a bench variation because if you're a power lifter, the paused bench is simply one of the lifts. But when I say paused bench, I don't mean just enough to get a press command because that's all you need in powerlifting. You just need to have the bar remain motionless on your chest. The judge will give you the press command and then you can go. The more skilled you are at remaining motionless at the bottom, the quicker of a pause command you're going to get. But when I use this as an assistance exercise, I pause anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds. This builds brutal power off your chest. It gives you a great stretch in the pecs. And paused pressing just in general is great for the pecs, no matter what the angle or the exercise. And for athletes, I like to think of it as you're getting used to having a load on your body. You're getting used to having tension at the bottom. So that's how you can apply this pause bench to any 3 of those realms. But the biggest key for me, the biggest takeaway is going to be for the powerlifting realm. If you're constantly pausing 3 to 5 seconds, then when you go to a powerlifting meet, those pauses are going to feel stupidly short. Exercise number 3, close grip, pause bench press with chains. Now, this is very similar to my rationale for why I really enjoy deficit deadlifts with chains. I'll break it down for you. Close grip means you're getting a longer range of motion, which is great for hypertrophy. Close grip stretches the pecs more because you're able to come deeper, which, boom, you already have more pec in there. Because it's a close grip, the bar's traveling further, which means you have more tricep area to lock out. It hits the shoulders just because it does. It's a pressing exercise. When you add the chains to it, you're further emphasizing the triceps by making the top part of the range of motion more tricep dominant and just having more overall load at the top. So not only are you getting a longer range of motion, you're pausing at the bottom, which is going to build your power out of the bottom. And then that weight is going to be lighter than what you're using at the top. So just like with the deficit deadlifts, this is working your pressing motor pattern from top to bottom. Feel free to do this with incline too if you want. Exercise number 4, neutral grip pressing. This can be done with a Swiss bar or anything where your hands are either 90 degrees neutral like this, or maybe on a 45 degree or anywhere in between, depending on what bars you have access to. Now, why I find this great is if you have nagging shoulders, you have some sort of shoulder injury, this can take off some of that stress. For example, if you're someone that can't do dips, maybe because you're too heavy or shoulders are bothering you, this is a great alternative because I find it removes the shoulder from the press just enough to make this feel more tricep and pec dominant. And the reason it protects the shoulders is because the bar allows you to naturally tuck your arms more, which takes a little bit of pressure off the shoulder, specifically at the bottom of the movement. This builds great power off the chest. What I like about this a lot, specifically for athletes, is it simulates a push. No one really pushes with their hands like this. So having your hands turned a little bit, it's almost like you're simulating a block or a throw or a shove. So this can be really beneficial for athletes. And exercise number 5 is any type of dumbbell benching. I've mentioned this countless times in my workout vlogs. A great strategy that I like to employ for myself, whether it's max effort or dynamic effort day, is to do 2 sets of moderate to heavy weight of dumbbell benching and just fire out the reps. No slow and control. This is not bodybuilding at this point. Well, you will get some hypertrophy from it, but you're not trying to quote unquote feel the muscle here. You're trying to get anywhere from 15 to 25 reps. So whatever weights you can do that with, pick a weight, try and do 2 sets and get 15 to 25 reps. So all in all, if you are struggling to build pressing power, employ any one of these 5 exercises or methods, and I'm sure your pressing power will go through the roof. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.